trying to protect your soul. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky.
Right, let's get into it. So the first player on the list who comes as no surprise to literally anyone who watched this week's games. So, who is the player? Drumroll please. Igor Thiago. Igor Thiago had a truly unbelievable game against Everton and is unsurprisingly the first player to be included in this week's Dream of the Week. So, he had 6 shots, 5 of which were on target, scored 3 goals with an expected goals of 1.7, which means he exceeded his expected goals by 1.3. Now, it is easy to forget that he is the second top goal scorer in the league, behind Haaland obviously. This may be due to the fact that he last scored in November. However, he is having a great season and had a great game against Everton, and as a result deserves his spot as the first kick in this team. Right, let's get into it. So the first player on the list who comes as no surprise to literally anyone who watched this week's games. So, who is the player? Drumroll please. Igor Thiago. Igor Thiago had a truly unbelievable game against Everton and is unsurprisingly the first player to be included in this week's Dream of the Week. So, he had 6 shots, 5 of which were on target, scored 3 goals with an expected goals of 1.7, which means he exceeded his expected goals by 1.3. Now, it is easy to forget that he is the second top goal scorer in the league, behind Haaland obviously. This may be due to the fact that he last scored in November. However, he is having a great season and had a great game against Everton, and as a result deserves his spot as the first kick in this team. If Thiago's inclusion came as no surprise to you, my second pick will definitely surprise you. However, before I reveal the player, I just have to make this small disclaimer. I am a football romantic at heart. As a result, my second player just had to be a Wolves player. They absolutely demolished their relegation rivals West Ham United, and they had Hwang Hee-chan to dump for it. Chan played 60 minutes, got 1 goal from the penalty spot, created 1 shot creating action, and he got an assist. It was a truly great performance from Chan and his team, and they will be hoping this form continues, if they have any hope. Next on the list, Declan Rice. Rice is having a truly amazing season, and he has certainly cemented himself as one of the best players in his position in the league, and if not the world. Rice has taken his game to a whole other level this year, and I would like to say he went up another level this past game week. However, that is just not the case. That is just Rice's level now. Rice played 90 minutes against Bournemouth. He scored 2 goals. He had an expected goals amount of 0.53, which means he exceeded his expected goals by 1.47. He shot creating action, and he provided 6 progressive passes in the game. Rice has become an integral member of the Arsenal team, and if Arsenal are to end their 20-year league drought, Rice will be of utmost importance, and they'll need him to continue on this form, if not better it. Now, let's add some defenders to the team. And the premium defender this week is none other than Nathan Collins. The Brentford captain was in sensational form, and he led his team to a 4-2 win over Everton. Now, it is rare that defense that considered 2 goals would have what is considered the best defender of that game. However, Brentford's captain was a man on a mission versus Everton. Not only did Collins score a goal, he also assisted Thiago. He had 42 out of 48 passes, at a success rate of 87.5%. This is the highest pass completion among the defenders this week that had been shortlisted. Staying on the theme of captains, it is a bit of an injustice that McGinn is only 5th on the list, because he too led his team fantastically, and had it not been for Rice's brilliance, he certainly would have been the stand-up midfielder in this past game week. McGinn scored 2 goals from 2 shots, created 2 short plating actions, and he also provided 4 progressive passes. A phenomenal performance from the captain. A main Collins at the back is none other than the 24-year-old German defender Malick Thiaw. Thiaw's adaptation to English football has been seamless, and quite frankly has been underrated and overlooked. He certainly is the contender for the signing of the season. Thiaw had 1 goal and was a defensive monster against Palace. He shut down Mateta, which is certainly no easy task. Overall, Thiaw had 5 tackles, 2 blocks, and was an absolute rock at the bat for Newcastle. I like all the positions in this team. The fullback positions were not really fiercely contested, and it was honestly quite slim pickings to get my selections. So, my left back is Brighton's left back, Tarioglu. Injuries have prevented us from seeing his best. However, against Burnley, we saw glimpses of his potential. Although he had no goals or assists, he did manage to provide a massive 6 shot creating actions, as well as 6 defensive actions, which included 1 tackle, 2 interceptions, and 3 blocks. As stated, it was really slim pickings to choose from, and you can easily go for either Lewis Hall or even Nico O'Reilly. Similar to left back, there were no real standout performers at right back. Akshampong was, in my opinion, fantastic against Man City and helped keep Brentford in relatively quiet throughout the game. And speaking of Man City, Matthias Nunes has been one of the most consistent right backs in the league, and I don't believe this is spoken of quite enough. However, my selection goes to the Evertonian, Conor Bradley. Bradley did provide 2 shot creating actions and got himself an assist for his efforts. He also had 6 defensive actions, 3 tackles, 1 interception, and 2 blocks. Hopefully, this will be a coming of age performance for the youngster. Between the sticks, it is Berkeley's former club teammate, Kyohim Keller. Keller's transition from being a number 2 to number 1 has been quite seamless, and has went better than expected at the beginning of the season. He always had potential, however this season, he is slowly but surely starting to realize that potential. He made a couple of unbelievable saves to keep the score down to 2 misses Everton. He also get a hand in ensuring that Brentford take all 3 points versus Everton. As you can see, we still have 2 positions available in midfield. Now, I am torn between 3 players for the 2 positions. However, after careful consideration, I believe Vitaly Janelt is slightly above the other 2 in contention. Janelt created a total of 3 shot created actions, provided 2 assists, as well as an impressive 7 defensive actions, 1 tackle, 3 interceptions, and 3 blocks. Looking at the numbers, he surely deserves to be in this team, even though the other 2 players pushed him quite close. So, the 2 players battling it out for that final position are Enzo Fernandez and Youri Tielemans. Enzo Fernandez put in a truly impressive display versus Man City and helped Chelsea earn a point in that game. Enzo took on 3 shots, 2 of which were on target, and scored 1 goal. He created 4 short creating actions and provided 5 progressive passes. He also chipped in defensively with a mammoth 8 defensive actions, 7 tackles, and 1 block. These are great stats from Enzo. However, Tielemans' stats are absolutely ridiculous. Although he had no goals or assists, he did create 4 short creating actions and also chipped in with 5 defensive actions. He has the highest pass completion rate amongst the shortlisted midfielders, with 88%, and he has the most passes with a ridiculous 99 passes from 112 passes attempted. Yes, You heard that right, almost 100 passes in one single game. However, I do have to take the level of opposition into account, as Nottingham Forest were just off it versus Aston Villa, and Chelsea played Manchester City without a manager, and got a deserved draw. So, Enzo just has to go into the team for me. As stated earlier, Tielemans just has to get a spot on the bench as the midfield sub. Gabriel has looked imperious after his injury, and he sneaks onto the bench, even though he did make that error that led to the Bournemouth goal. And on him off the bench would be Mane from Moves. He has been one of their few highlights this season, and he deserves a spot on the bench. He got 1 goal and 1 assist this week, and there is great returns for the youngster, and long may it continue. And that wraps up my Gameweek 20 Team of the Week, ladies and gentlemen. Now, since this is my very first YouTube video, I know the quality is a bit raw, but I do promise that it's only going to get better from here. Hi, sorry to interrupt. I do appreciate you watching up until this moment. I am currently uploading the video and I realized that I am unable to upload with the thumbnail, and it is currently Thursday and it is the last game of Gameweek 21. So I did consider not uploading this video. However, I believe it's a good idea for me to upload so that I iron out any wrinkles going forward. The Gameweek 21 video should be up by Sunday morning. Thank you so much. I truly appreciate you sticking around and supporting the channel right now at the beginning of this journey. So, I want to hear from you guys. What does your Team of the Week look like? Who did I miss? Or which of my picks do you totally disagree with? Drop a comment below and let's debate. Also, since I am just starting out, please give me some feedback or advice on the video quality. I am all ears on how to make these better for you. If you enjoyed this breakdown, please hit that like button, share this with your FPL or football groups, and subscribe to join the community. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.